Welcome to the first episode of Philosophizing. I'm super excited about this, and I hope that you are as well, because today we're going to be talking about a psychological hack, how to think about failure, and how to improve, and how to master a certain topic or a certain skill set. So this is just going to be through my experience, and I've thought really long and hard about this through my endeavor in becoming a day trader full time, and so I really hope that this adds value to your life. And so let's just start off. Let's jump right into it. So for me, I started immediately looking at mastery, and I looked at self-improvement. There was always this innate desire of becoming someone great and doing something great and achieving a success that maybe a lot of my peers or a lot of people around me just didn't have. And this was, in regards to finances, in regards to health, in regards to everything, really. I wanted to do something different than just the regular, 9 to 5 and maybe doing things that I don't like and, pursuing something that I just don't enjoy doing just for the sake of doing it. And so it led me down to this road where I wanted to indulge and research more into how to develop a skill and how to get better. And this led me to read this book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, where he talks about the 10,000 hour rule. Now I believe that it's a gross oversimplification of how to achieve mastery, but that's part of what I want to talk about here. But it was the first thing that I read and the first thing that I kind of pursued, right? I thought, I was like, okay, if I spend 12 hours a day on this topic, then that means on trading, then that means I can become a better and better trader. So I would spend so much time just staring at my charts and staring and in hopes that I would be learning something, just through the sheer act of staring and engaging with the market. But what I realized was that, again, it was an oversimplification. You had to actually be doing certain things in order to achieve that skill, in order to improve your skill. Some people call this deliberate practice, where you focus on a specific part of that skill and improve that and focus solely on that. And then you can move on to the next part and then the next part and the next part. And then overall you make these, 1% improvements on each individual part of your system. And then that results in a massive change in your overall system, right? So this is the act of deliberate practice. And I think it's so important because the 10,000 hour rule doesn't differentiate between practices. And I think not all practice is equal. There's a quality versus a quantity aspect to it that we just kind of ignore with the 10,000 hours. And so I think it's super important that, the 10,000 hour rule isn't an oversimplification. And the best way to do it is kind of split it up into deliberate practice. And so you focus on individual aspects of your system. So in this case, for me, I'm a day trader. And so I wanted to become, really good. And I wanted to become consistent and profitable and so on and so forth. And so what I did was I interacted with the market at specific price points when it's priced at certain specific things, right? And I would see how it reacted at this level, why it reacted there, and I would learn and improve and learn and improve. And when I did that, my trading and my abilities just skyrocketed. I improved so quick. And so what I'm getting out of this is that I think that a better rule to look at instead of the 10,000 hour rule would be the 10,000 iterations or the 10,000 failures rule. Okay, so what I mean by this is, let's just start off by looking at Thomas Edison. This is obviously the man that created the light bulb, something that everyone uses in their day-to-day life. But he said that it took about 10,000 attempts in order to finally create a functioning light bulb that we have today. And so when I heard this, I kind of thought about it, and obviously with my experience with trading and understanding that, hey, me just staring at the charts until my eyes bleed, 10, 12 hours a day is not the best way to do it. There has to be something else. And then hearing about this 10,000 failures, I was thinking, man, I think the best way to do it is, instead of using the 10,000 hours as a barometer of success, using 10,000 failures as a barometer of success. So the way I looked at it now was that if I failed, if I went on the charts and I did certain exercises and I failed 10,000 times, then I would be that much closer, one step closer towards me mastering this skill set. And so obviously, there's a caveat to this, right? You can't just fail for the sake of failing. You can't just go and just start failing at everything and, being a loose cannon like that, like it's just some crazy asshole. You got to actually have some direction. And the process that I go through when failing is fail, reflect, progress. And this is kind of a kind of spin-off of what Ray Dalio talks about in his book Principles, where he talks about pain plus reflection equals progress. Okay, so, but it's the same thing, because essentially when you fail, it can be a painful experience, right? So you fail, you progress, you fail, you reflect, and you progress. I think following this sequence is amazing, because that's what helps you fail forward, and you fail, that you allow those failures to actually help you in your life, to progress. And so every time I failed, when I was trading, right, maybe I would interact with the market, I would take a trade, I would fail, I would lose. Okay, now I would break that down. Why was that a loss? What was price doing here that I could have been aware of before that I wasn't aware of at that time? How was price setting up different to the previous winners, right? Was it just a probabilities thing, or was it in fact a mistake that I made in regards to actually reading the market and interacting with the market? Okay, so that's the way to think about it, is this fail, reflect, and progress. And I think if you do that 10,000 times, we use it, obviously, again, it's an oversimplification, but it's a better barometer of success, I think, than the 10,000 hour rules, because you actually have to fail and you actually have to be taking action, whereas, you can be doing something for 10,000 hours and not actually be taking the proper action in order to achieve the things that you would like to achieve. And I think that this is great because the 10,000 hours has a limit, right? Like you have to spend 10,000 hours and, to achieve a level of mastery that you'd like. Now, with 10,000 failures, you can fail more than once in an hour, right? So you can actually speed up that process. And I was thinking about it not too long ago, and I really do believe that this is how people achieve things quicker than others, right? You see people, they're a prodigy from, super young, and you're like, man, how did they achieve that level of success at such a young age when I'm, this 30-year-old dude and I can't even, I'm just doing nothing with my life. Like what is going on here? And I think a lot of it comes to the fact that they failed quicker, they reflected on their failures, and they moved quicker, right? And they reflected, they progressed, and they continued, and they just developed, and it was like this snowball effect. Because the first couple failures, yeah, you're getting little tidbits of information, but as soon as you get to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 failures, you start to really, really improve at this snowball effect, right? It starts off small, and becomes this bigger, momentous thing that happens. And so I think that's kind of a good way to look at it as well. But the real psychological hack here that I want to discuss is that you convert failure from being a bad thing to a good thing when you look at it like this. And not only that, but you actually have a barometer of success. You have something that you can actually look up to, right? And you can track. So you can throw it in an Excel sheet, and you can say 10,000 failures, right? 10,000 failures, and you can have a document where every time you fail, you tick off one. And instead of using failure as a negative thing, you're using it as a fuel, right? You're using it as a fuel for success. One more failure means I'm one step closer to achieving my success. I'm one step closer to achieving that 10,000 failure limit, right? Or that 10,000 failure level. And again, I want to reiterate that it is an oversimplification, and maybe sometimes it might take you 1,000 failures to achieve a level of success that you want, depending on the degree of difficulty of the thing that you're pursuing, right? Maybe it's 5,000, maybe it's 20,000. I have no idea, but I think that using the 10,000 failures rule is just a better barometer of success than 10,000 hours. And so I think, yeah, using it can help you out. It's helped me out. And I really hope that this can add value to your life and in what you desire to achieve and what you desire to kind of push towards and progress in. So that's all I have to say for today. I just want to keep these videos nice and short on philosophizing here. That's the whole goal of it, 10 to 20 minutes max to talk about certain topics that have impacted my life, and certain topics maybe that you will recommend in the comments or whatever, and hopefully we can discuss and improve and help each other, have fulfilling conversations and help us take steps forward in the right direction. So that's the whole purpose of this, and I hope that you guys really gain some value out of this. And yes, please let me know what you thought in the comments, and I will see you in the next episode. Cheers. Thanks.